Blizzard fans, welcome back to another episode of the Cold Front Podcast. I'm Joey Boadana. That is BJ Steffen. The Blizzard coming off of a Friday night opening night of Week 12 win over the San Antonio Gunslingers. A lot of action still to cover around the league as well, but we do have a scenario that we will touch on this week. But before we dive into all that, how are we doing this week, BJ?
Doing good. Going through the season quick. We say it every week, but week 12 already.
Yeah. Week 12 has come and gone.
13,
We're heading into week 13. But week 12, let's go over it here with our squall report this week. The Blizzard getting the dominant win. It wasn't dominant at all points, but for the most part, a dominant second half against the San Antonio Gunslingers. What were your takeaways from this game? I think we were kind of talking about before the game, what are the things you want this Green Bay team to have? And I think they were still looking for their running back. I mean, DeMylan Brown was strong at points, but you're looking for a guy that can really take on that position. I think Kairee Robinson has proven that.
Yeah, it feels like whoever we slot back behind there is just having great success. But 5 total touchdowns for him. I don't know how he got at least 2 or 3 of those. It looked like he should have been down way behind the line of scrimmage, and he found a way. So he looked fantastic. I don't know. A couple of those are just I think
crazy. The quote we got from him during the game was he's ready to run through anything in his way, and he played like it.
Yes, 100%.
He certainly played like it. So a great performance for Kairee. But what'd you feel about the rest of the team in that second half? It kind of was the Kairee Robinson show, but what eventually led to this team being able to pull away?
I mean, it was our defense. Our defense looked phenomenal. I mean, we gave up 14 points in 3 plays in the first quarter, and then after that, it was just San Antonio had to work for every yard they got. They couldn't establish a run game. Their running back, I believe, had 2 fumbles on his first 2 attempts. So our defense was just phenomenal. Yeah.
So I truly has proven. I think, again, this wasn't quite the 60-minute affair, like you said. Those first 3 points and the first 3 plays, and I think the first half, I think you'd like a bit of a do-over on, but the second half, I think, made you forget about all that. I think they were incredibly strong.
We had our adjustments. We've been doing that all year. It's shifted more towards, okay, we're going to make our adjustments in the second half and play a better second half, which we needed after those first couple games where it's like, okay, we're going to score 40 in the first half and not score again. Okay, how do we keep the lead? So those adjustments in the second half have been really critical to our success so far.
Yeah, really the last 4 weeks you've seen a lot of strong finishes. I think at Fishers, Tulsa obviously being able to mount the comeback there, and then this one against San Antonio that leads to an incredibly strong finish for the Blizzard. What about other games around the league this week? I kind of getting a chance. I got to see one firsthand this week. San Diego, New Mexico. Donovan Porter getting the start, Blizzard legend, back in. We're talking about some of the best starts in franchise history. He was a part of those in 2012 in the early stages there. So it was cool to see him work. He had 5 passing touchdowns, but Nate Davis, both of them, by the way, both quarterbacks turned 39 years old. In their birthdays are 4 or 5 days apart. So just last week,
oh, wow.
It was perfect how it all kind of came together. So I think I don't know if your memory serves. Do you think that is 2 39-year-old quarterbacks? Do you think that is the oldest combination of starting quarterbacks that's played in an IFL game?
Probably. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but I would have to assume it's got to be close. It's got to be Nate Davis.
Nate Davis isn't getting any younger.
No.
So I think he probably holds the record with someone in the past, and I think the fact that he is he's getting older, and he actually had a guy to compete with him with the ageless wonder. I think that was kind of the fun story to follow in that game. So that was another game that went down. That was on Sunday in Albuquerque. Was tuning for that one. The other one, Fishers Jacksonville, came down to the gun, and it was a blocked field goal for the Sharks that, again, they don't go away. They're right there, and they're staying on Green Bay's heels at the top of the East, and I think that probably stay the same. Even if what the results are this week, it next week will probably still be for the East.
Yeah, they'll be our determining factor. We haven't played Jacksonville yet. I've been saying it all season, or at least the last couple of weeks. It's like, okay, we're looking really good. How are we going to play against Jacksonville? They're our last conference team we haven't played yet. They're right behind us. We're one game back. So, yeah, I mean, we need to win. It comes down to that, but we got to see how we play.
Another team that Green Bay is familiar with is the Quad City Steamwheelers. They're coming off the loss against Vegas, and it truly is this. And we'll talk more about them later in the show, but it truly is a shell of what we expected them to be.
Yeah, I really don't know. They felt like it looked like the same game we had on Friday, where it's like, okay, this could actually be close. They were kind of in it in the first half, and then Vegas.
I think it had the same final score, did it not? 61-28?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So, but then Vegas made their adjustments to the second half and ran away with it. So, I don't know what's going on with Quad Cities. We've been saying it week after week. It's just like, I don't know what's going on.
Well, with that, we will go into our icebreaker because Green Bay does play Quad City this week, the third and final matchup of the regular season. Split right now. Quad City took the first one. Green Bay took the one at home now. The rubber match coming up in Moline. Jumping into our icebreaker, we'll get a chance to talk with the general manager of the Quad City Steamwheelers, Destiny Brown, on the other side. All right, we got an opportunity here with the GM of the Quad City Steamwheelers, Destiny Brown. Destiny, first off here, before we dive too much into what's going on with the Steamwheelers, just give us a little background on you and your journey here as into the world of indoor football.
Yeah, so graduate of University of Iowa in 2018, went there for sport and recreation management, had the opportunity to join the Wheelers in 2018 when Doug Bland had made the announcement that he was bringing the team back to the community. Had a great first season with the team and kind of learning the ropes of the indoor world. Really wasn't too knowledgeable, to be completely honest, which sounds crazy with the culture and everything that was the Quad City Steamwheelers as I was growing up. But I was a little young in that chapter of the team, but always wanted to work in football, so knew that was the path for me, and was lucky enough to kind of find an ownership group that saw something in me from a young age and allowed me the opportunity to grow in this space. And it's kind of how I've gotten to where I am today. Had a few opportunities to, go to another organization in the league back in 2021 when I got the chance to work for the Bismarck Bucks. So just love this game, love this level of play, love what we get to do for our communities. And so it's a little bit about me.
Well, you mentioned 2018 is when you got your start with the Wheelers. 2019 is when the Wheelers joined the IFL, and the rivalry, even though like the Blizzard and the Wheelers have been a rival, even going back to the old AF2 days, this iteration of the Blizzard and the Wheelers, they've had some really good rivalries going back to 2019. What can you take away from I was describing this. I was talking to someone about the tradition of these two franchises. What have you taken away from the matchups between these two?
It's every time we go up against each other, it's a slugfest, and you don't know what the outcome's going to be. I mean, I think we've traded punches. You guys have got our number the last couple of seasons here, but Coach Roberson always puts together an incredible game plan. His defense is among the best in the league, obviously. And with Coach Ross and his offenses over the years, I mean, those two going up against, that says enough in itself, obviously, of the challenge that's going to be that game. But no, overall, just it's always a fun, clean game. I think our fans obviously travel well both ways, so we know it's always gonna be a good environment. And no, like I said, I have nothing but the utmost respect for the game plan that Coach Roberson puts together and Coach Ross. I always say it's the battle of the quarries.
Right, we call the same thing. The same thing. I know. You just mentioned your year with the Bismarck Bucks, and that rivalry kind of carried over a lot of. With the dormancy that year with with COVID and whatnot, a lot of the same people went up to Bismarck. What can you tell me about that year? Because that was kind of it was an interesting swing from what happened after COVID.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like our time in Bismarck, it was a really cool experience. I think it was super exciting to take them to, and like take what they've had already established and bring in what we kind of did in quad and the culture that we have as well, and bring those two together. Rod Miller was our head coach out there. And getting to work with him. It was my first time, obviously, aligning with another coach in the league as well. So getting the opportunity to kind of learn his system, what he does. Also, Heidi Rippling, she was out there and getting to like learn underneath her. And again, just kind of, I mean, you saw it. It was a really cool year for everybody. I mean, first playoff appearance in the IFL. Being obviously able to go out there and just put a winning schedule together. And then in addition to that, just really kind of taking two worlds and mashing them together. And then again, fun matchups, obviously with interconference foes and getting to, take on, all of those teams that we are so familiar with. Also, it was a great year. It was a great growing experience. And obviously, I think inevitably, like, that's really what created, the doorway for me in my career, for our ownership over here to say, Destiny's ready to lead a franchise. So that it was a really cool thing for me just to, like I said, learn underneath all of them. And then, obviously having Coach Ross out there and so many key players from the Wheelers that, we were able to also bring out there. We also brought out one of our interns, Jared Sutton. He came out and he did ops for us. So really it was just the merging of two teams, and we had a really special season that year. So.
And then immediately after that, 2022, that's when, the championship starts to grow, and the Wheelers make their run to the championship game, an incredible playoff run, accustomed to playoff success. And, going into this year, what has that adjustment been like from going to where the franchise's expectations are to now this year? It's been a little bit of a struggle to this point.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that's watching can see, like, it's not traditional Steamwheelers football out there. I mean, granted, when you look at the record, it doesn't reflect how close some of those games were. And, unfortunately, close doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the W's and L's that get us to where we want to be. And obviously, as anyone would know, we're not satisfied right now. It's really just trying to figure out where we need to make those adjustments, obviously, while still remaining, faithful in what we have. Coach Ross does an incredible job of staying loyal to his players. One thing that you'll recognize throughout the years, like not even just this season, but past seasons, is the guys that he goes into training camp with, and that come out and make that, 25-man roster. Those are the guys that he's going to go to war with unless necessary changes need to be made. And he is trying to make those adaptions. And again, we're not, like I said, we're not satisfied with where we're at. There's still a pulse, contrary to popular belief. Again, our 2022 season, I don't know if anybody remembers, but we started out that season with a similar type of style, and we went on a run and we made it all the way to the national championship. The road ahead of us is not promising. At the end of the day, you don't know what's to come. But that doesn't mean we won't remain faithful in it and keep trying to put the best product that we can out on the field. And but trust me, we're not satisfied, and we're still going to do everything that we can to make that push. Because again, once you get there, it's 0-0, right? So.
Right. Well, as you said earlier, that it seems like it's 0-0 when these two square off. You don't know what's going to happen in any given situation. Quad City got the win in Moline earlier this season, so we'll see how it shakes out this year or this week, and obviously a lot more still to come before the end of the season at the end of July. Well, Destiny, appreciate your time talking with us this week, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much. Same to you, man. Really
appreciate Destiny. Regardless of how the season's gone for the Steamwheelers, they're still another rivalry is there. This is, voted on the biggest rival for Green Bay. But when it's not in between the walls and it's not in between the whistles, I've got a lot of respect for the Quad City organization.
Yeah, no bad blood with me and them. I mean, I love going to their games. Not able to get out there this weekend, unfortunately, but love going out there. It's a nice, easy drive, and environment's great.
Yeah, and same thing. It's like it's the closest team. Mm-hmm. I know there's that I know they're Iowa and Illinois, but it's that Wisconsin-Illinois football rivalry that there's another one that is pretty pretty important around
the Indiana in a little bit anyway. So,
well, right now at this point now they're Indiana, so that's not even going to matter. But anyways, that's that it's important to these parts, and that's obviously a fun rivalry to follow. They've met in the playoffs the last 2 years. Quad City obviously not looking like they will make that.
Never know.
You never know. They could turn around this week.
Plenty of time. Wow. Well, there's 8 weeks left. They can.
Crazier things have happened.
Yes.
Crazier things have happened. So who knows? They could make a push and make the postseason. We talk about the bottom part of the East. There's not much separation. No. Fishers keeps losing. Orlando just took a loss to Tucson. We can really get a chance to talk about that. I'm sure we will shortly, just briefly, but there's not really much separation. Tulsa's starting to pull themselves up into some contention, but we'll talk about that in a second. We led off the show talking about the Kairee Robinson show. Why don't we welcome in Kairee Robinson to our show this week for our Talking Blizz? Got a chance to talk with Kairee after his great performance on Friday. All right, we're here with Green Bay Blizzard running back Kairee Robinson. Kairee, first off, let's talk about this past game. Walk me through that performance. Obviously, a big one to get the run game going.
Yes, sir.
5 total touchdowns for you.
Yeah.
What was clicking for you?
We just started off in practice. I feel like we had a good week of practice. We attacked practice the right way, and then just shout out to the big homies, and then to receivers, everybody blocking downfield and stuff like that. I had a good day, but none of that would be possible without the guys blocking for me, though. So shout out to them for sure. The
offensive line's been strong this year. There's been some rotation, but I think everyone's really done a good job of answering the call. Let's 100%. Take a look into your story here. Walk me through a little bit. What's your story and your upbringing through the sport? When did you realize that football was going to be a part of your journey?
I've been playing since I was 7 years old. So it's always been my journey. Been not only just a part of my journey, it's just been pretty much my whole journey type thing. So I took about a year and a half off. I was supposed to play last year too. My boy Jaime, he was trying to get me to come out to the Bay Area, and I played IFL out there. I ended up just passing on the opportunity. Looking back, I wish I would have played, but it's just been so long. I'm like, man, I got to get back out there. And thankfully, another opportunity came this year. Jaime actually texted me, I think after the second game, he's like, our running back just got hurt. He's like, we're looking for one. And then I had an opportunity. Coach Rowe called me, and I'm like, man, I'm ready to play, Coach. It's been too long.
You touched on that. Obviously, there's a lot of connections here with guys who have played in college before, guys who have played in this league before. You touched on Jaime.
Yeah.
What do you think that has to do with everyone having already a connection to each other previously, the chemistry of this group? Because it seems like it's really high.
No, 100%. As soon as I got here, felt like I was at home, felt like I was part of the team, part of the family and stuff like that. And having Jaime here helps out a lot. He's a real outgoing guy, friendly guy. Everybody, kind of just gravitates to him naturally. So when I got here, it was like I just left college with him, so it's like we never left. So it was a nice, smooth transition, and it's just been fun since I've been here for sure.
And what would you take from what you've gained from this team? Obviously, you weren't here in camp, but what do you think the mentality of this team, the goals and the aspirations are? What do you think sets this team apart?
Obviously, I wasn't here last year, but I know that they got to make it to the championship last year. Came up pretty short. Got a few guys that were here last year on that team, and I know that's already pushing them, giving them a little bit more motivation and stuff like that. But we got guys coming from the Bay Area, from just places all over and stuff, and just want to play football and just want to be great, want to be better, and obviously want to move up. So that's our number one goal and stuff like that. And as a collective, we just all kind of buy in together and push each other like that, just to focus on that one goal. So I feel like we do a good job at it for sure.
One last question for you. This is one I always throw in this segment. What's one fun fact about you you'd like to share with Blizzard Nation?
Jeez, one fun fact.
It's always a curveball.
Yeah, I don't want to use the same one that I did. I said I'm one of 8 siblings. Okay. That was my one fun fact when I came here.
Where in the totem pole are you?
About just right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
I have 3 older brothers and then 4 younger siblings. Okay. 2 sisters, 2 brothers. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I'm about just right in the middle. Awesome. But I say I don't like chocolate. That's a big one.
Okay, really?
I don't like a lot of things, but chocolate, that's a big one.
All right, picky guy. Well,
just a little bit.
Appreciate you, Kairee, taking some time with us, and best of luck this weekend in Quad City.
Appreciate you, boss. Thank you.
Thank you, Kairee, for taking the time to talk with us this week. And Yeah, talking about a guy that wasn't in Green Bay to start camp, but his getting ingrained, again, having a previous connection, a teammate who he played with previously that's here in Green Bay, playing behind Jaime Navarro. What if you can start to have this running game? We've talked about the passing game. It's pick your poison. Liam Thompson's playing like an MVP in both aspects of the game, and he has his receivers to pick from. What if he has a strong running mate with him in that run game?
The running game has been critical so far. We haven't had as much of it in the last couple of weeks. Demyelin hasn't been playing. Kairee's been doing great, or had a great game this week, and if you keep up this running game, other teams aren't going to know what to do because Liam's been throwing the ball every game, and now we may not have to.
Right. So, and that again, crucial to have an opportunity to pull away from games. I think I go back to 2024, EJ Burgess. I think he was kind of he could put the nail in the coffin in so many games because you could run the ball effectively and not just settle for 3.5 yards per carry. He was going to be a tough runner. He was running in between the guards, and he was going to find his way into the end zone and create some chunk plays by himself with the blocking up front. I think Kairee Robinson can easily slide into that role this year. So would be exciting to see that. We still have a couple months to play until we get to the all-important postseason. But Green Bay can punch their ticket this week with the scenario Green Bay beats Quad City and Fishers beats Tulsa. Green Bay has punched their ticket to the postseason for the third season in a row. With that, let's talk about our forecast. Maybe that plays into our picks this week. Let's start with Iowa-Orlando because that's the first game on the slate on Saturday. Barnstormers and Pirates. The Pirates taking a tough loss to Tucson. I think that's when they sorely got to get back from. They're going to be back in their home building after being out east, traveling to Tucson, and now they'll be finally back at the Kia Center in Orlando. I think this has to be a get-right spot for them.
Yeah, I'm going Orlando. You can't take that Tucson loss and bring it into a loss against Iowa. Iowa, they're on their fourth quarterback of the season. They just signed another one. I just don't see where Iowa pulls ahead here. I think Orlando's going to take that Tucson game and figure out what went wrong and have a big get-right game. I'll
also go with the Pirates here. I didn't get to catch much of the Tucson game, but it was a score I was following. And Tucson, obviously, and we'll get to that here in a moment. They also have a new quarterback in the Sugar Skulls, but Orlando, we've seen that when they're playing at the best of their ability, they can compete with most teams in this league. I would imagine. Also, they play some fun games at home. I think all three of their home games so far have been like coming down to the last drive. No?
Yeah, I think so.
Overtime, the win against Quad City, and then the walk-off against Fishers. So I think all three of them have been walk-offs. I would hope. I think they're probably hoping this one is not going to come down to the last drive, but we'll see. I think this will be a good game for them to get a win. I will go with the Pirates. Here's the important one for Green Bay leading into their game on Saturday night. An hour before Green Bay and Quad City kicks off, it will be Fishers and Tulsa. If the Freight knock off Tulsa, Green Bay will have an opportunity to clinch a playoff spot if they can finish off the job against the Steamwheelers that night.
I'm going to go Fishers. I think it's going to be really close. Tulsa's been playing really good football. They're competitive with us. They looked good last week. I think it's going to be really close. Fishers held Jacksonville pretty close. It was a blocked field goal away from winning that game. So I'm going to go Fishers, but I could definitely see Tulsa winning this and keeping their chances at knocking Green Bay out just the hair there longer.
The Fishers beat Tulsa on the road, and I will confirm here, this one is at the Fishers Event Center, so this time it's going to be at home. I've said in the past, like, it's hard to win there. Now they've lost their last two home games, though, so would imagine that they're going to want to try to get back on the right track. They've had some really good wins. Obviously, the Quad City win to start the season when they were still rolling. Beat Arizona handily.
Yes.
I'll go with Fishers to give Green Bay the chance.
Yep, I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I wouldn't be surprised if Tulsa pulls ahead and has a really good game.
If they win, now they have the control over the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they're playing into a playoff spot. So obviously they have a lot to play for as well.
Yes, both teams need this win to. I think they'll both be at 500 if they win.
Correct.
Yeah. So these are critical games. These are going to mean for tiebreakers come down the stretch. We saw last year we had a 3-way tie at 10-6. So these tiebreakers really come in handy.
Yep.
It's gonna. All these games matter.
Yep. So the next one, this one doesn't hurt the conference tiebreaker. We talked about it last week. San Antonio, another Eastern Conference foe in Jacksonville. Jacksonville also, since they're kind of on an island, they play a lot of Western Conference teams. They won't be on an island for much longer. Obviously, Athens coming in here.
Yep.
That'll be exciting. But they've had to play a lot more Eastern Conference teams, Western Conference, excuse me, which that's what's kind of altering the Eastern Conference race for the 1 seed because it's not going to be an even.
We have 2.
Right, only 2, and I think they'll play 4 or 5, maybe 6, something like that. But the conference record will not be even. Correct. I think that will be the issue with the tiebreaker. The math, it's the only math that works for me, BJ. I couldn't even on the broadcast this week, before we even get to picking this, I couldn't even do simple math on the scoreboard. I don't know how I do this math. It works for me. But Jacksonville, another non-conference opponent in San Antonio. Here's before we dive into it.
Okay.
Ravarius Rivers, we got to see him last week. For some reason, he always puts on a show when he plays against the Jacksonville Sharks. That was the first team he signed with in this league. They're in the indoor game. I believe they were still in another league before that season when they came over. But he always puts on a show against Jacksonville. I think he puts on enough of a show here to this could be interesting.
I could see it. They stayed competitive with us through the first half. If they can make their adjustments, figure out what went wrong in that second half, maybe establish the run game. I mean, Rivers just has to do what he does best and can keep Jacksonville in check. Fisher's kept them in check pretty well. Under 40 points is a good margin. So if San Antonio's defense can look better than they did against us, maybe it's close, but their offense really needs to take a next step. And I just don't know if it's going to be against Jacksonville. Yeah,
Freddie Payton, he went down with an injury late in that game. Not sure of his status for this week.
No idea.
We won't know. We'll find out. But that obviously is a big key. They have a great receiving core. They just have to be able to get the ball to them. I won't be that bold. I will go with Jacksonville, but plant that little seed, just like I did last week with Tucson. Plant that little seed. This could be our upset of the week.
Well, I'm not going to say, I'll say I hope for it, right? Because that would help us out. So I'm going to go Jacksonville. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, that'd be nice for us.
Yeah, absolutely. This next one, alluded to it before, New Mexico, Tucson, out in the West. Tucson with a new quarterback, an incredible win against the Pirates. That new quarterback, a former Blizzard quarterback, a former IFL MVP, Jerome Johnson, he was making the plays to make it work for that Tucson offense. Brandon Mackey and him, that's an incredible run game now. They're starting to make a push for a playoff spot with San Antonio in the 4 seed. New Mexico, only 1 win on the season, but they had San Diego a little bit this week. They led 19-0. Good teams can come back from that like San Diego did. What do you think here? This one will be in Tucson.
I'm going to go Tucson. They played a great game against Pirates. Pirates have been having defensive issues since they lost Coach Keefe. I think they're going to keep going here. I think Jerome's just a great quarterback. He found a situation he likes. I follow him on Instagram. He said he posted something along the lines of that he's happy now. So obviously he likes it there, and hopefully they can break it a 2-win streak.
I'll go New Mexico.
You're going New Mexico.
I enjoyed my weekend so much in Albuquerque that I'm going to go with the Chupacabras to get a stunning win, their second of the season. I think they've got untapped potential. Their offense is good, and their defense, they've made a couple more signings here that they were talking about in the defensive secondary that they're really excited about. they made some great plays. I think that San Diego was able to beat them with scheme, and not that Tucson doesn't have a scheme offensively. I think that obviously New Mexico knows it best. They had him at quarterback. That Jerome thrives on unpredictability.
Yes, 100%.
Are you able to hold him in check? It's easier said than done, but I'm going to go with the Chupacabras to get their second win of the season and keep Tucson from jumping into that 4 seed in the West, that ever so glorious 4 seed in the West that we've been talking about since day one. I think this is going to be a little tougher than the Sugar Skulls will bargain for.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
Round things out here. I don't think this one will be too tough to pick. Vegas, Northern Arizona, top in the West, bottom in the West. 3, 2, 1.
Vegas.
Yeah. We'll go with the Nighthawks. They looked great against Quad City, playing against a 1-win team. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Vegas is going to keep doing what they do best. They're going to keep winning games, and it helps that they're playing Quad Cities, Northern Arizona. But you win the games you're scheduled. I mean, you can't fight
They'll
that.
obviously have tough ones. They still have San Diego a couple more times to round out the season. So things will get contentious in the West, but I think you're just waiting for those top 3 teams. Obviously, they've beaten Arizona twice, so we can't pin anything on their
100%
on their strength of schedule at all.
Correct. Well, only one of them was scheduled, but yes.
But they did get they did get
They beat them twice, yeah.
So they've beaten Arizona twice. Can't pin that on them.
Nope.
They still have to play San Diego twice. We'll see, but they are certainly match the eye test for sure.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we've been saying it last couple of weeks. It looks like a collision course rematch.
Yep.
I'm not going to go that far yet. We got a lot more season to play.
I think this is going to be an incredibly unpredictable playoffs.
Yes, 100%.
I think there are too many teams, particularly in the East, that they can play above their punching weight in a 1-game elimination situation.
Yep. Let's just hope it's not against us.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll get to our blueprint, and we'll talk about Green Bay. What does it take for them this week to hold on to the regular season series against Quad City and potentially give themselves an opportunity to punch their ticket into the playoffs?
I think it's going to come down to our O-line. I mean, that's the reason we lost the first game against them at home or in Quad Cities, right? Is that first half we had just lost Carter due to injury. We more than likely won't have Carter this week either. So we have new offensive linemen. We saw some of the issues last week against San Antonio. We had a special teams malfunctions, 2 or 3 bad snaps, and just some issues on the offensive line front. Obviously able to have 4 rushing touchdowns and a bunch of other stats, but it's going to come down to that. Liam had no time in the first half against Quad Cities at home last time we played them. That's what put us down at the first half. Each team scored on every drive of the second half, so we just were never able to catch up.
Yep.
Our offensive line does well, gives Liam plenty of time. Hopefully Robinson's playing just as good as he did last week. We can kind of get a good balance there. And I think Green Bay's going to look pretty, but it's going to come down to that. Obviously, our defense needs to be able to stop Neal, stop Keon. They have a lot of good weapons. They just haven't been able to turn that into wins. So play good offensive line, have our defense play as well as they're doing. I think it should be a good, solid win.
Yeah, I think this will be an interesting. I don't think they've played a run game that is Tulsa. Tulsa had a great run game, and that's what led them to being in a tight game. I think that's going to be the trade-off. Can you hold a strong run game in check? That kind of is Quad City's lifeline. If you let that lifeline continue, that's how they can win games. That's how we've seen them win games.
Yep.
Obviously, you mentioned that you have all-pro receivers in Keon Williams, and you have a legend of the game in Kevin Rudd. Jarek Peterson is into the fold, also a former Blizzard wide receiver as well. He's in the fold offensively for them, so keep an eye on that. But I like your take on the offensive line. That was obviously crucial in the loss at Quad City the first time around.
Yep.
I was impressed with Raheem Anderson. Like you mentioned, the offensive line can't be a slouch if you had that many.
Correct.
If you had that many rushing touchdowns. So I think that'll be crucial to going out there, and I think they they've made the strides, and I know this was just the first week that this combination was playing together. I think that first game, what was it? No, it was probably the second game that they were playing with that combination.
Yeah, because we didn't have Carter for
Carter
Iowa.
for week 3. Yep,
The
but you're
defensive
correct.
front is a little different between Iowa and Quad Cities. I think we mentioned that after that game.
Yeah.
Is Quad Cities D line's really, really solid.
Yep.
So our O line's going to have to make their adjustments. We saw it last game. All right, the first half was a little rough. Second half it seemed to go a little better.
Yep.
I think Robinson had 4. I think Liam had 1 rushing as well.
Yeah.
So
So I think this Quad City team. The other thing is they can't get out of their own way.
Yep.
Let them make their mistakes and see what happens. Take advantage of them as well, but they can't get out of their own way.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
That is the big thing for Quad City. Of the things that it's like I don't know what's going wrong for them. It's just the little things that it's just like that is incredibly frustrating, and that's how they've lost some of these. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Excited to be in Moline this weekend. Be on the broadcast team with Nate Gatter. I got to see him in the last road game in Moline, and I'll get a chance to work alongside him. Looking forward to that. But with that, any more thoughts on this week and this matchup?
No, it's going to be a good game. It's always competitive there, as much as it probably shouldn't be, or we don't want it to be. But
I'm sure they feel the same way.
Right. Yeah. So let's just have a good game. We win. We'll be at 10-1 again, another franchise record. So let's keep it going.
Awesome. Well, we'll wrap this thing up, and we'll be back next week to talk more about Green Bay Blizzard football. A big game next week, but a big game this week to really set the tone of what's to come here in the back half of the season. With that, we'll wrap things up. That's BJ Steffen. I'm Joey Bonana. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cold Front Podcast. We'll wrap things up as we always do. Go Blizz.